Hi, my name is Anini, and in this video, I would like to share my reflection on Group 6 teaching practice, especially focusing on their classroom management. So, overall, I think they managed the classroom quite well and created a positive learning environment for the students. And from my observation, Group 6 was able to create a classroom atmosphere where students felt comfortable participating in the lesson. They did not only explain the material but also involve the student through different activity. So this activity encouraged students to interact with one another and made the learning process more engaging. And I also noticed that the teacher monitored the student while they were working. And then another strength of Group 6 is their ability to encourage student participation. The student looked confident enough to take part in the activity, answer questions, and share their ideas. So this shows that the teacher successfully created a supportive and student-centered learning environment where students were actively involved rather than just listening to the lesson. However, I believe there are still a few areas that could be improved during some of the more active activities. The classroom became a little noisy, which is quite normal in an interactive class. And to manage this more effectively, the teachers could use clearer attention getting techniques such as classroom signals, stranger voice projection, or simple cue words to help students refocus before moving to the next activity. And in addition, smoother transition between one activity and another will help the student flow more naturally. And then giving brief and clear instruction before each activity could also help students understand what they need to do without confusion. So overall, I think group 6 demonstrate effective classroom management. They created an active, supportive, and enjoyable learning environment where students had many opportunities to practice and collaborate. Although there are still some aspects that can be improved, I believe they did a very good job and their teaching practice showed good preparation and teamwork. So that's all I can say. Good job, group 6. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I would like to share my reflection about the presentation from group 6. They talk about an activity called Poker Face game for teaching English to young learners. After watching the presentation, I learned that teaching children does not always have to be serious. Young learners enjoy learning more when they can play, interact with their friends, and use English in a fun way. I think this game is a great example because students have to guess emotion by asking and answering questions in English. It helps them practice speaking naturally without feeling afraid of making mistakes. Another thing that I learned is that simple activities can still give meaningful learning experience. This game does not need expensive material, but it can improve students' speaking, listening, vocabulary, and confidence at the same time. I also like the warm up song because it can make students feel excited before the lesson starts. As a future English teacher, this presentation reminds me that creating a positive and enjoyable classroom is very important. Children usually have a short attention span, so teachers need activities that are simple, interactive, and interesting. I believe that when students enjoy the learning process, they will be more active and more confident to use English. Overall, I really enjoy this presentation because it gives me a practical teaching idea that I can use in my future classroom. And thank you for the interesting presentation, Group 6. I hope I can apply this activity when I become an English teacher in the future.
Hi, my name is Amira and I'd like to share my reflection on Group 6 presentation. Uh, can we do poker face again, Miss? And honestly, the title already was everything. I mean, when students are the ones asking to repeat an activity, that's a sign the lesson truly work. And what I really like about their lesson was just how um, well structured it was. I mean, they didn't just jump straight into the game, but they were students up first with a song, introduce the vocabulary through visuals, practice the language patterns, and then brought in the game. I mean, everything flowed naturally from the one stage to the next. And the game itself, Poker Face, was simple, but that's exactly what made it effective. I mean, young learners don't need uh, complicated rules. They need something fun, interactive, and low pressure. And Poker Face tick all of these boxes. I mean, students were guessing, asking questions in English, and actually using the language, not just like listening to it. And what also stood out to me was the energy in the room. All the students were engaged throughout the lesson, which honestly isn't easy to achieve, especially with young learners who have short attention spans. But Group 6 clearly understood their audience, and overall, the presentation reminded me that the best activities for young learners are the ones that feel like play but are actually full of learning. So, great job, Group 6.